Hello, are you a new pilot looking to get an aircraft? Well, the Cessna 172 Skyhawk is the plan for you. The Cessna 172 Skyhawk is the most popular training aircraft ever made. It's the most popular because it's the best. You only need a couple things to fly this aircraft: a pilot's license, some algebra 2 skills, and a sweet pair of aviators. Now, we can't give you all these things, but we can give you one, and that's the algebra 2 skills. So let's get started.
When you're taking off, there are many things a pilot needs to consider. One of these things is the path you take to achieve your altitude. Not all planes climb at the same rate. Some climb fast, others slow. The Cessna 172 Skyhawk has a maximum climb rate of 730 feet per minute and can fly at a maximum altitude of 14,000 feet. You create a square root function of the equation to model the path in which it would take to reach 14,000 feet. First, we have to find the time it would take to get to the maximum altitude. 14,000 divided by 730 equals about 19.1780. So the plane can achieve its maximum altitude in about 19 minutes. The path the plane takes to get to its altitude can be modeled by the equation y equals root 10,316,000x. So if a pilot wants to know how high they should be at a certain time during the lift, they can plug it into the equation. For example, y equals root 10,316,000 times 10 equals about 10,157 feet. So, using this model, the pilot would know that if they were at a higher altitude at the time, then they were putting too much strain on the plane's engine, which would jeopardize the ultimate goal, safety.
The first plane invented by the Wright brothers in 1903 flew only about 30 miles per hour. Due to the improvement of the engines, we can calculate how much the Cessna 172 Skyhawk has improved over the years. The amount of speed for the first plane, represented S, had increased the velocity due to the improvement I over the past few years T. Okay, N equals S times the quantity of 1 plus I to the T. By plugging in the information, you get the equation N equals 30 times 1 plus 0.034 to the 52nd. By solving this, you would get 152 miles per hour. From this, we can conclude that the Cessna 172 Skyhawk will fly about 152 miles per hour faster than the plane the Wright brothers invented in 1903.
As a pilot, you must always be aware of what your plane can handle. One of those things is the amount of weight you have on board. This includes the people, luggage, and fuel. The amount of weight you can carry would be a model of direct variation with the horsepower the plane engine has. For example, the Cessna 172 Skyhawk can carry a maximum weight of 917 pounds, and it has an engine with 160 horsepower. This can be modeled by an equation. In the equation, W is the weight the plane can carry, and HP is the horsepower of the plane. So sub that in. 917 equals A times 160. Divide both sides by 160, and you get A equals 5.73125. You can use this to find the horsepower needed for a plane to carry 2,000 pounds on board. 2,000 equals 5.73125 times horsepower. You divide both sides by 5.73125, and you get the horsepower as 348.964. So as a pilot, you would know how much horsepower is needed to carry the amount of weight that will be on board. That is important for the safety of your plane, yourself, and of your passengers.
Chapter 1 through 5 Summary. Chapter 1.2. In Chapter 1, we evaluated and simplified algebraic expressions to determine how much fuel a plane would need for certain trips. Chapter 2.3. In Chapter 2, we graphed equations of lines to determine the flight path pilots will take to avoid collisions with other aircrafts. Chapter 3.5. In Chapter 3, we use matrix operations to determine the best price of parts to buy for your plane and where to buy them. Chapter 4.8. In Chapter 4, we use the quadratic formula for the Blue Angel pilots to pull up while doing their stunts close to the ground, but not on the ground to stay safe. Chapter 5.4. In Chapter 5, we factored and solved polynomial equations to determine the fuel level and how much fuel a plane can carry.
Flying can be very dangerous for sure, but if you have the right plane with the right algebra 2 skill, it can be very fun and safe. So if you are ready to get into the cockpit, get yourself a Cessna 172 Skyhawk, the greatest plane in the world.
The Cessna 172 Skyhawk has the when you are taking off.
Got this. Flying can be very. Alright, let's try that again, guys.
Martin, you can't laugh.
Martin,
The Cessna.
Stop.
Can't make that face.
I'm just looking around. Dude, I told you, don't look at me. Look at the camera.
Sally sold sea.
So many takes.